What's up guys, Next Tech here, and this is going to be my gaming comparison between the Google Nexus 7 and the iPad mini. So I've gone ahead and got three games that are pretty graphically intense, and the first one is Nova 3. So I'll launch both of these at the same time and see which one loads up first. iPad looks like it's away first. We will just tilt these a little bit. Okay, and the iPad is definitely in there first. I mentioned that this is a dual-core 1 GHz and this is a quad-core 1.3 GHz processor. So you'd think it'd win out, but it's not all about cores and clock speeds. And there we go, we're both loaded in. So we'll tap here. We will start a new game, so over here I'm going to have to reset my game because I want to show you it from the beginning. Here we go, we'll both click start at the same time. Gotta say, the iPad mini looks better already, probably because of the screen aspect ratio here, guys. You can see the 4:3 really suits it. The iPad mini is done on loading. Nexus 7 is still going. Okay, we are still loading down here on the N7. Come on, Nexus. Letting the team down. There we go, now it's ready. Now, when I press this button, basically it's going to go into the video at the beginning of the game. Watch the different effects you'll get on each version and if there is any changes between them. So, yeah, here we go.
This is SQ1.
So you can see already there's more smoke effects, there's different lens flare here. You can see more detail out here than on the Nexus 7. Again there, so it's definitely running a higher graphics effects up here on the iPad mini. See the haze at the back there wasn't on the Nexus 7. And this is just kind of Gameloft's fault for not optimizing the game properly for Android. Wow, really laggy over here on the Nexus 7 compared to the iPad mini, I've got to say. You can actually see the frames where it looks very smooth. I am running stock on both these devices, completely stock. And you can definitely see that there is a difference in smoothness. I know the Nexus 7 is running at a higher resolution, so that will affect it, but still, you expect more. Let's just have a look here. Check out these major smoke effects you get over here on the iPad mini and the smoothness of the device. If I look over here, there is no smoke going on and it's a little bit choppy. So if we jump out now, there's definitely consistently more frame drops on the Nexus 7 than the iPad mini here, guys. Okay, so now comes the kind of tough bit, and I'm going to have to kind of play these one at a time. So the first one I'm going to play is the iPad mini. We'll get in here and we'll zoom in for you. Should focus in, there we go. I've got to say the colours look excellent, it's very rich. All the effects are running, you can see the different particles. We'll skip through here, we'll just do a bit of gunfighting. So it's pretty damn smooth over here. You can see the effects going on, all the stuff blowing up, the smoke coming out the end of the gun, or the heat signatures coming out the end of the gun, I should say, all the stuff happening to the screen, and I died. But yeah, you get the point. Let's move over to the Nexus 7 now, do that same bit. We'll resume. You can see already it's not running these extra effects. There's nothing going on in the background. There's no particles flying around. There's no haze. Let's see if there's anything coming out at the end of the gun when I shoot. So there's an explosion there, but nowhere near the sort of detail that we had on the iPad mini. In terms of performance, it's okay. You can see it's still pretty choppy though. I mean, it's probably down in the 20s or the 19s. I can't accurately tell you because I haven't rooted the device and I haven't got FPS meter. But no, I mean, there is a major difference. Let me bring back the iPad at the same time and see if you can see it properly. Okay, let me go back to where the iPad mini one is standing, which is kind of here, right? Or a bit further back. And look at that, you can see the differences there. They're quite amazing. On the iPad, you've got all the effects flying through the air. Over here, you've got nothing. It just doesn't look as detailed on the floor. It's not as good and it doesn't run as well. So disappointingly, the iPad has higher graphics settings and runs smoother than the quad-core Nexus 7. So that'll do for that game, Nova 3. What we're going to try now, we'll just put this how we had it before, which was like this. And next up, we'll try Most Wanted. So again, a really kind of graphically intense game. And we'll load them up at the same time. Again, the iPad, a little bit in front. We'll try and put these side by side this time, see if it's a bit easier. Again, gaming, it looks nicer on the 4x3 screen. You know, you just get more screen. Obviously, this is a bigger screen as well on the iPad mini, so take that into account in terms of portability. You know, games on Android, I'm starting to find that it's a little bit disappointing in terms of performance, and it's probably due to the fact that there's so many different types of Android hardware. It needs optimizing, and it just doesn't. It's just not there, guys. You can see the iPad mini is in front and is actually playing. I'm not going to play this, but take into account the effects on the floor. You can see it's shiny on the floor here. Nice frame rates as well. We're catching up on the Nexus 7. And there we go. You can see a laggier start and also much laggier start. And also the ground isn't shiny like it is over here on the iPad mini. So we are again running a different graphical setting. It's definitely smoother over here on the iPad mini, guys. And the effects just look a lot better. I don't know, again, there's nothing in the settings I can change to change the effects, it's just the way it is. But again, I'm going to say it, software optimization, that's basically what it is. I know this is running the tutorial, guys, but, you know, it is basically still the same. You can see, I mean, the performance is okay over here on the Nexus 7. It's kind of choppy, it's not the most enjoyable experience. See, it's got some frame drops. If I do that on the iPad mini over here, you can see it looks like it's playing at 60 frames per second. Nice lens flare. There's more effects on the floor and the cars, and it's nice and smooth. So the iPad is easily winning out on games over here, guys. And hopefully you can see the choppiness of the get rid of that drift of the Nexus 7 here. Compared to the iPad, it's just buttery smooth when looking at the two. It's crazy to think that this has a quad core and this has a dual core. I know it's the GPU that really matters, and the GPU is better in the iPad mini. We've seen it in the benchmarks. So you can see even now the tutorial is complete. The frames really haven't gone up. It's still kind of choppy. You can see it's nowhere near this smoothness over here. Big frame drop there. So yeah, guys, we finished the race over here on the iPad. Well, we failed, but we finished it nonetheless. Yeah, guys, I mean, I'm playing it and it is just not as smooth. So, again, that's another win for the iPad mini. And we'll clear these out of memory now. Probably should have done that after Nova 3, but, you know, what can you do? Screw it, you know. Last game, guys, I'm going to test GTA Vice City. Now, this one does have graphical settings for Android, and again, we'll do these at the same time. Okay, it actually appeared on the Google Nexus 7 there first, which was a bit of a shock, a bit of a surprise. Okay, we'll skip into these. Faster over here on the iPad mini. I just want to show you, there is no settings on iOS in terms of graphics. But we can assume it's playing on maximum because everything else has been playing on maximum. On my Nexus 7, I have got it to the max on everything. So, yeah, start a new game. Start. There we go. They are off. And the iPad mini is away first. Albeit not a long way behind, but it is behind the Nexus 7. And we'll skip this little bit. The interesting thing I've noticed here is you can actually see more of the landscape on the Nexus 7 here than you can on the iPad mini. You can see you can't see the top of the building. Over here you can. So that's interesting. I guess it's better on the 16:9 screen. And yeah, guys, this time I'm going to play these separately because, you know, it's kind of the best way to do it. So we'll try the iPad mini first. Get in the car here. We'll go for a little drive. Check out performance. Oh, who just turns right there, man? Or left even. Who just turns left out of nowhere? No indication. What a dick. Right, moving on. So, as we've come to expect from iOS games, it's smooth, guys. Yes, I know I say that a lot. It is. Just is. It's just a nice performance over here on the Mini. So let's just do that little drive on the Nexus 7 now. And this is running at maximum graphics settings, we're definitely sure on that. So first impressions, it's better than the other games have been, Nova 3 and Need for Speed. Smoother than them, but it definitely is probably, well, I don't know exactly the amount of frames slower than the other one, slower than the iPad mini, but it is slightly slower than the iPad mini. Although I've got to say, I am quite impressed with GTA here, and you know, GTA, because of how stuff is rendered, it's more of a CPU intensive game as well. So maybe the quad-core CPU is helping it out here and performing on par. You can see it really isn't having any issues running at maximum draw distance and maximum resolution, which is higher than the iPad minis, I should state. No major frame drops, no problems. I would say the iPad mini is slightly smoother, but only slightly. For a little run around here. So I run around in a circle, watch the background. It's pretty smooth as it goes past, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Bring back the iPad mini. Get out the car and do the same and run around. Yeah, guys, I mean, it is just a little bit smoother. You can see it. I think, hopefully you can see that. To me, it's definitely smoother on the iPad mini, but it's a lot closer on Grand Theft Auto than it was in the other games. So, yeah. So, there's the 3 games I've tested, guys. Nova, Vice City, and Need for Speed. And the only one that was kind of, the Nexus 7 was kind of close to the iPad mini was Grand Theft Auto. Otherwise, the other 2, the iPad mini kind of wiped the floor with the Nexus 7. So, Yeah, I mean, in general, the iPad Mini seems to be a better gaming device indefinitely. You know, it's got a better graphics card. It's just better in terms of gaming and performance in general. And if you've checked out my web browsing comparison, it is actually faster than the Nexus 7 in that terms as well. Obviously, it's £100 more, or £100+ more than the equivalent Nexus 7, which kind of sucks and it really isn't worth that much more. But yeah, there's the gaming comparison, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. See you all later.